Welcome back to our YouTube channel, guys. My name's Adil, and today's video is another episode of part of the Behind the Sound series on the absolutely amazing Audi R8 that we've got behind me. Today's video is all about tuning the actual sound system. We are nearly there. Car is very nearly ready for collection. So if you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button below. And remember, guys, we've got that awesome competition with some absolutely amazing prizes live on our channel right now. Link for that is in description below. There is also loads of content on this car already. The full episodes on Behind the Sound, showcasing as it comes in to where we are now, is all live on our channel already. Make sure you go check that out. In terms of the car, so just give you guys a little bit of an update, just in case you have forgotten. We have got a stock system which came in without Bang Olufsen, which came in with a tweeter, an 8-inch driver in the door, and that is absolutely it. There is an episode what's called Sound Off, which you can actually see exactly what we're taking out of the car to what we're putting in, and it's definitely worth a watch. In terms of the configuration, we've gone for a 3-way fully active system. What does that mean? Each channel of an amplifier is running directly to individual components. We've got Hertz Mille Legend tweeters in a stock location. We've got Hertz Mille Legend 3-inch mid-range in a stock location inside the door. And then we've got Hertz Mille Legend 6.5-inch driver in a stock location as well. These two are mounted in with 3D printed custom rings that actually house the actual speakers into the door itself. There has also been a hell of a lot of acoustic soundproofing work gone into the vehicle to get it to where it's sounding right now. We've soundproofed the doors, the back shelf, the floor, the roof. A lot of soundproofing has gone into the vehicle, which makes a massive difference to the actual sound in the vehicle. It's really controlled. It's not about being loud outside the car, it's about being controlled, precise inside the car. So inside this door now, when I knock on it, it's really solid. That framework now has been built up, and not only, and that's how the install has been done behind the scene, but there's actually a full soundproofing video, so make sure you go check that out as well. But today's video is all about tuning. So the amplifier that's running this system is something called a Forza 8.9. You've got 85 watts per channel on the actual amplifier itself, and all these product links will be in the description below. So if you want to see the technical guides on them, or instructions on them, or performance of them, go check that out. They're all in the description below. In terms of the amplifier, you've got 8 channels of amplification and 9 channels of processing power, hence the name Forza 8.9. Therefore, in the Audison range, they've got the Forza, which is a higher performing product, and then they've got the slightly less power at 35 watts per channel, which is the standard Audison Prima 8.9. However, we're using the higher powered one on this system because we're putting in the amazing set of the Hertz Mille Legend range. The way the amplification is set up is, so we've got 8 channels which are actually all being used, even though we've only got 6 components in the vehicle. So the way that's set up, the first channels 1 and 2, they're running the tweeters on top of the dashboard in stock location. 3 and 4 are running the mid-ranges in the doors, and they're built in with custom 3D printed elements to house them. Then 5 and 6 are actually bridged on the left-hand front 6.5-inch driver. 7 and 8 are then bridged on the driver's side as well. So reason why we're bridging channels, we're basically sending more power to those 6.5-inch drivers. It's a very important part of actually setting up a system like this, because on this occasion currently we don't have a designated sub. We wanted to send more mid-bass and more power to those 6.5-inch drivers so they are performing exactly how they should, and honestly it really does make a massive difference. So overall, a really nice, clear, precise setup that we've got in terms of the speakers, all completely hidden away, but also the actual amplifier completely hidden away as well. So literally nothing is on display. Today's video is all about tuning. So how and why do we tune a system? So when a system is first installed and all the parts are put back together, once all the trim panels are back in, door cards are back on, it's all soundproof and everything's back together, what we do is the first sort of 1-2% of the system. That first couple of percent, getting it to where it needs to be, getting it to that 100%, is initial setup. So what we do is we plug our computer directly into the Forza amplifier, and what we do is we set frequencies. So we make the system safe. So we set frequencies and what frequencies we want to be playing across the actual products that we've got into the vehicle, and that's all down to the configuration wizard. We set that up and then do frequencies. We do a basic time alignment as well, but also we just make sure everything is working exactly how it should. We've retained things like your parking sensor retention, all the beeps and bongs that you get day to day when you're driving the vehicle, they are all retained as part of the system. So we've got to check through all of that as part of it, and that is the initial setup. Once that initial setup is done and we know all the products are going to be playing safely, what we actually do is de-equalize the radio. So currently in the car, this car didn't have a factory amplifier. Even still, the radio is outputting what's called distorted signal. It's outputting, in layman's terms, bad food that's going into an amplifier and then amplifier directly. If we didn't de-equalize, if we didn't correct the signal, you're just amplifying bad food. So when you just add an amplifier into a system, you've got to be very careful. We always try and always guide you in terms of adding a processor, because on these new cars, it makes a world of difference. Because you've got that bad corrupted signal going in, just amplifying it, yes, it makes it louder. Yes, it will probably sound better with new speakers. However, without a processor, it doesn't allow you to correct the issues that are actually fundamentally wrong with sound. So we correct all of those issues. That then goes into the amplifier. Then the amplifier outputs that with clean, nice, good signal directly to the speakers so they can perform exactly how they need to. Once all that, as we know, is all safe, then we move on to actually using in some technology. So technology that we're using is something called Bittune. So inside this box, we've got loads of different tools that we can make cars sound really, really impressive. So at the moment, we've got set up in the vehicle, which we've just finished tuning, the actual microphone setup inside on the actual headrest itself. We've got one microphone on the driver's seat and then one microphone in the center. These microphones are very, very important. They're listening to all areas of a vehicle. Also, one thing, once we plug in the Bittune, this takes us to around about 95% of our way there to getting the system inch perfect. So once that system is plugged in and the microphones are then listening to the sound in the vehicle, it's very different in terms of how sound outputs from home hi-fi to car audio. Your space inside the cabin is very, very small, and what you've also got is actually the interior, right? So the interior, in home hi-fi, you might have your speakers in front of you. It's normally in a large expanse of area and space, and the sound waves can travel quite freely, and obviously normally it's in a rectangular or a square area as well. Inside a cockpit of a car, very, very different. You've got a steering wheel in the way on one side, which isn't equal to the other side. You've also got a dashboard that might go upwards above the speedo. That's not on the other side. They're not symmetrical. However, you've got speakers in a very similar location. So what Bittune allows us to do, and the microphones electronically, which physically your ears cannot listen to, is actually the interior in the vehicle, how sound is actually reflecting and bouncing all over the place in the car. And what this does is correct that as well. So firstly, we've corrected the de-equalized, the signals coming out of the actual factory radio. Then the Bittune is actually correcting for time alignment. So we're moving sound around the vehicle. And that's not like a normal fader that you might have in your car currently. When you fade a vehicle from back to front, what you're actually doing is decreasing the volume in the front and increasing the volume in the rear of the vehicle, creating a fade towards the back. However, that's not how sound should be played. When you want to move sound from, say, here on this finger to here further back, what we actually do is delay and increase the speed of certain components in a vehicle to move sound around the vehicle without changing the actual overall volume of that product that's playing. So that's some of the kind of cool features that Bittune allows us to do, and it measures all areas inside that vehicle, all the trim panels, the actually material inside a trim panel in the interior, that all gets taken into account, and then that's what goes into software that allows us to automatically, via the software, set up the car to get us 95% of the way there. However, we don't settle with that. Obviously, an electronic tune is important. However, one thing that does need to be taken into account is obviously when you're sitting in the car, appreciating the music yourself. So we sit in the car after we've done a Bittune and actually finalize the system. We actually go through, listen to it. We get multiple opinions of everyone here sitting inside the car, listening to the system, making sure it's inch perfect for everyone. Then when the customer comes in, if they're happy with it completely, but we also have the option to change that at any time. So we can customize this at any time. So when the customer's in, if they want to have a little bit less treble, we can do that. If they want to increase certain frequencies, we can do that as well. If they want whatever they want, a process that allows us to basically do that. Yes, the components need to be correct and need to be exactly correct for what the customer is after. And that's where during an audio consultation, we go through all of that with you. But inside here, actually on the computer, what I've actually got is a brief idea of a drawing of a car. We are driver and right-hand side focused. Then we actually write down vehicle type, customer's details, and actually all of the details and components that are actually going into the vehicle. And then that forms into basically a part of the EQ settings and stuff. It will form as a file that we can save and edit at any time. So for instance, if this customer was listening to classical music right now and in 2 years time decides to change to rock music, for instance, as his main type of music, what we can do is customize the sound, change sound around the vehicle to actually get it sounding inch perfect for the new music taste. And this is where the system is not only completely reversible and removable and can move to other cars, but also the software allows us to actually customize the sound completely, because the next car might not be exactly the same. And that's where the software, we can reconfigure the system, redo the Bittune on the new car and get it sounding inch perfect in that car too. So these systems are an investment initially, however, well worth it, because when you sell this vehicle, all of this kit can be removed, moved to another car. So you're investing, planning for the future, for always having an amazing sounding system. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. You've seen a little bit more about Bittune, understanding a little bit more about what actually goes on. If you want a real detailed overview and want to sit down and have a chat with us about these sorts of products, about what we can offer you guys, make sure you get in touch. Drop us a message on any of our social media platforms. More than happy to go through everything with you. But remember guys, hit that subscribe button. We've got that awesome competition live on our channel as well, giving away a brand new PlayStation 5 and Audison Prima amplifier, so you guys can actually upgrade the sound in your vehicle too. So thank you very much for watching guys. We'll see you soon.